Hi there, welcome back to a new episode. In this one, we are looking at Nokia stock because we actually have some pretty good news for Nokia stock as of late last week. If you can have a quick look on the charts, you can see on the 12th, which was a Friday, Nokia stock did actually increase by 1.71%. It's not the biggest increase that we've seen, of course, but it is an increase nonetheless. I think this is a very fantastic thing. Well, of course, in tonight's video, guys, I'm giving you all of my personal opinions going into next week on what I personally believe Nokia can do. If that sounds like a plan, if you might enjoy this episode, please leave a like and subscribe because of course we are trying to grow the channel as fast as possible and each subscriber does help us on our mission. So thank you so much for all the support so far. Let's keep it going into the next week and just, you know what, let's just jump into the video. So yeah guys, obviously I am not a financial advisor, so you do need to do your own research, but with that being said, I think Nokia is definitely in a fantastic position right now. Now we have seen a lot of hype in Nokia over the past month, as you will already know, mainly from the start at, well, or at least the 14th of January, up until this high point here on the 27th, and from there guys, things basically sold off and didn't stop since. So from here up until about the 11th of February, we've seen a 37% decrease in share price. I think up here that was to be expected, but once it started to come down, I think it was going to level out at some point, but unfortunately that did not happen. But what we are seeing now is a little bit of a turnaround in the share price. Hopefully we've seen one of the first positive days that we have seen in a very long while, and yes, it isn't up by very much, but it is still up nonetheless. The question for tonight's one is this going to help us go into next week, and can Nokia stock actually remain positive into the next week? Well guys, the short answer for me is definitely yes. I think Nokia is hopefully going to see some positivity into the next week. I've been saying this one before, I'll say it again. With what Nokia is doing with the 5G, there is a lot of potential in this industry and in this market sector for Nokia's share price to get a big boost in the next few years. I've said it in a previous episode as well, I think the amount of sell-off that we have been seeing over the past month is a bit too much for Nokia. I mean, yes, we were bound to see a bit of a sell-off from that high here, but I think leveling out at this point here of around $4.53 would have been much better, but unfortunately that is what we did not see. But now guys, things are looking like they are starting to take a bit of a turnaround. I mean, not by too much, but by kind of enough to justify Nokia hopefully having a bit of an increase into the next week, and honestly, that is what I am thinking that we could potentially see. So when we talk about percentages and amounts guys, I definitely don't think Nokia is going to be touching $5 in the next week, but I don't think that's a bad thing. I think Nokia will see a small amount of positivity into the next week, and if that is the case, it will be a great starting point for this reversal and for Nokia stock to hopefully be back in the green. So would I buy Nokia right now? I've said it in last time's episode where I talked about Nokia being relatively cheap at the moment. I'm going to say it in this one as well. I think especially now with a bit of an indication that we have been seeing of this one turning itself around, I think now is one of the best times to buy Nokia stock. But honestly guys, if you are going to be investing in Nokia, I think you do need to be aware of the strategy that you should be taking. Well, in my personal opinion guys, a lot of people have been seeing Nokia as a very quick way to make decent profits, and of course for 1 or 2 days that was the case. If I was going to be investing in Nokia, I would definitely consider this one more of a long-term hold, as with the 5G and all that the company is doing, the long-term fundamentals and the potential is there for this stock to explode, but of course it's not going to happen overnight like some other stocks. I think Nokia is going to be more of a long-term investment stock, more of a stable growth company, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but I think a lot of people are hoping that Nokia is going to rocket back up to $7, if not higher. I personally don't believe that's going to happen in the next 2 or 3 weeks like people are anticipating. I think it's possible that it could hit $10 or even $20 in the next 2 to 3 years, but I don't think it's going to happen in the next 2 to 3 weeks, which is not bad for an investment guys, but I think a lot of people do need to refocus their approach, as a lot of people are holding Nokia short term and expecting huge profits, and it definitely could pay off short term. If it was to explode in the next 2 to 3 weeks, hypothetically, I would definitely sell off with a decent profit if possible, but of course I just would not anticipate that happening, as a lot of people probably do, and I don't think that's a bad thing that they are expecting that, but I just personally believe that would be a better option for them to kind of lower their expectations and just see this one as something more stable for the next 5 to 10 years potentially, especially with the rollout of 5G, which would also have a huge influence on how much money this company can make going into the future. Now this was also something that was reflected in the earnings, which came out only a few days ago, where we did actually see positive results which were fantastic. I think this is just another indication of more strength going forwards into this one. I just think it's little things like this which really are going to help us over the next 5 years or so with the rollout of 5G, and how Nokia really wants to have more of a prominence in the 5G sector. So far, we have seen Nokia claiming that they want to own 20% of the 5G sector, and so far it actually looks like they are on target to reach that goal. So considering all of that information, it is possible that they could do that, and that really could have an effect on the share price. I think that is why Nokia realistically is more of a long-term buy and hold rather than just a quick trade. But of course, guys, I'd love to hear what you have to say down in the comment section. What are you doing with Nokia? Can you see it exploding in the next week or two? I'd love to hear what you have to say. Other than that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye until then.